Hey chat, we need to chat. Can I use it that way? Can I say it like that? Welcome to Simulator Gen Z. Jobs are vanishing, homes cost as much as small countries, and everyone's yelling at you to stop eating avocado toast while quietly voting for trillion-dollar corporate subsidies. Cool. Today's episode is not about vibes, it's about reality. Because if you're under 30, you're inheriting a system that wasn't built for you, and the cracks are starting to show rapidly. The fact is, Gen Z will be the first generation that will be in worse economic shape than their parents.
Excuse me?
This is urgent, not meant to be clickbait. It's not fear-mongering. It's sort of a checklist, a reality check, if you will. By the end of this episode, if you're Gen Z, or if you're Gen X and you have kids growing up in today's society, you'll know exactly why everything feels harder right now. You'll learn the hidden structural reasons Gen Z and follow-on generations are facing an uphill battle just to do what your parents did at 25, which is get a job, buy a home, and maybe think about having some kids. And yes, we're going to talk about AI and health insurance and job scams. So buckle up. Welcome back to Thinking and Being. If you like what you see today, please go ahead and like and subscribe, as this will enable you to see more content from myself and other content creators who talk about similar topics like this one. And I plan to be on YouTube for a long time, hopefully 4 or 5 decades if I can last that long. So you might as well just hit all the buttons. This video is going to be a little bit of a different format. A little more conversational, a little less highbrow, a little less intellectual, and a little more real. When you're done watching, comment below and tell me what you think of it. Also, one of the things I like to do in my videos is promote other YouTube content creators. So look for those YouTube handles as we go, highlighted right here in the bottom corner, and go check those channels out if they look interesting. So why this particular topic? This matters because I have kids and I'm worried about my kids. And I'm not just worried about their future, I'm worried about your kids' future too.
It's your kids, Marty. Something has got to be done about your kids.
And your kids' future. And also I've had conversations lately with fellow Gen Xers who can't even find stable work despite decades of experience and certifications and degrees. These are very smart, capable people who are sidelined. And if it's happening to them to that degree, it's going to hit Gen Z and future generations even harder. The problem is that we're kind of walking into a rigged game. And I'm not saying that to depress you. I'm saying that so we can shine a light on what's really going on and start thinking about how to play smarter. Because you can't escape the system until you can see the system in the first place. And right now, the system's got you playing the game of life on legendary difficulty.
All right, thumbs up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Dragons.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
So let's talk first about some of the problems, challenges, issues, if you will, surrounding younger generations and our current economic environment. So the first challenge is that incomes are not keeping up with expenses, and they're actually kind of stagnant, and in some cases, incomes are going down relative to a few years ago. In 2025, over half of Gen Z workers report that they aren't earning enough to live the life they want or need. Compared to their parents at the same age, 32% feel financially behind. Despite being more educated, Gen Z is earning less in real terms than previous generations. You'd think wages would go up over time, constantly. Nope. Median pay for new college grads was higher in 2021 than in 2023. And according to the New York Fed, it's now below $59,000 on average and falling. That's before taxes and rent and student loans and therapy. And I know this because I'm going through transitions myself and have done a job hunt, and I can see that incomes being proposed for different jobs at different levels are actually going down with time. Next, AI is devouring entry-level labor everywhere. Entry-level positions are vanishing thanks to AI. Tasks once handled by junior employees are now automated. In 2025, 40% of employers expect to reduce their workforce due to AI automation.
My guess, and I'm still not certain of it, but I think with some of the things we've seen with models starting to be as good as PhD students in areas like math and programming and biology, it is my guess that by 2026 or 2027, we will have AI systems that are broadly better than almost all humans at almost all things.
This shift leaves new graduates without traditional stepping stones into their careers. So how in the world do we expect them to make that jump? And have you ever seen a job labeled entry level and then it says 5+ years experience, Python preferred, etc., etc.? That's because AI tools and resume filters have made companies weirdly super picky. And most real entry level work has been automated or outsourced or turned into an unpaid internship. So congrats, the job ladder is now a pull-up bar that you can't even reach by jumping. Third, home buying is basically going to be sort of impossible. Housing affordability has plummeted. The median age of first-time home buyers has risen to 38, up from people in their late 20s 30 years ago. The average age of home buyers is now 56. And high prices and stagnant wages make home ownership a distant dream for many Gen Z individuals. The prices are just out of control. There's a real possibility that most of the people in future generations will not be able to ever buy a home, especially if they want to live anywhere that's sensible and it's not the middle of nowhere. And I actually made a whole video on this. I'm really thinking about the plight of Generation Z and Generation Alpha as they try to look for places to live in the future.
So yeah, if you're a younger generation, or you're at a place in your life where you just don't have a lot of assets currently, it's pretty unattainable to be able to jump into a $2 or $3 million property investment. It's just unrealistic to think that you could get into a property like this anytime soon, or maybe at all in your lifetime.
So you can go check that out. In 2018, let's say a $300,000 home with 4% interest, that requires a $1,145 mortgage. 2024, that same home is now $450K. At 7% interest, that requires a $2,400 a month mortgage. And so that's more than double the mortgage. And to afford that, you now need $86,000 a year in income, just for the loan itself. And that's not counting insurance, property tax, food, anything else. It's just buy a house. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? You don't want to live in a super boring ass area of the United States? Okay, then let's hear from this very real scenario of living in a somewhat populated area where the jobs are.
We are living in the worst housing market in modern history. Let me show you. This home here is the American dream, and it's something that people like me have been working for a very long time. But then this happens. $800,000 for this house. 2025 with an $800,000 sale price, a 6% down payment, and a 6.5% rate gives you a payment of $5,300 a month. But in 2018 with a $410,000 sale price, 6% down, and a 4.5% rate, you have a payment of $2,200, which means that today you would need a household income of $330,000. But in 2018, you needed a household income of $135,000.
And the fourth problem I want to talk about is that job hunting is a literal nightmare. Applying for jobs has become increasingly frustrating. Many postings are not genuine opportunities, but data mining schemes. In 2024, consumers reported losing $470 million to job-related scams, a 5-fold increase from 2020. It's a maze with traps, too. Roughly 40% of job listings are fake or inactive. They're just there to get an idea of what's out there, taking your precious time and effort. And there's ATS bots that ghost you. Real recruiters ask for take-home projects that eat up your weekend, and you're not getting paid. And when you do interview, it's 6 rounds of being judged by people whose jobs will be replaced by AI probably before yours. And with over 1,000 applicants per entry-level role, and that's not an exaggeration, hiring managers treat you like a disposable audition tape. Job hunting isn't hard. It's designed to break your spirit at this point. And then there's remote work. Remote work is gone. We've returned to a tailorist work environment where We enforce control over trust. Taylorism is a form of scientific management, or management science, and it was a theory developed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries by Frederick Winslow Taylor. Its core principle was to apply scientific methods to analyze and optimize work processes to increase efficiency and productivity, particularly in manufacturing. Despite the success of remote work during the pandemic, many companies are mandating a return to the office. This shift disregards the flexibility and productivity gains achieved through remote work, forcing employees back into rigid structures reminiscent of factory-era expectations. As we know, office work is not factory work. So why such a hard push back to in the office? It's mostly distrust. Managers think presence equals productivity. Never mind that many of us do our best work away from the office politics. And collaborating work is not the same thing as deep work. And deep work is the only time you actually get work done. We had a revolution, and then we just gave it back to those in control. Next, workforce cultures are just getting worse. Many companies treat their employees like potential criminals. Software tracks mouse movement, badge-ins are monitored, trust is gone. Meanwhile, billion-dollar CEOs complain about worker laziness while sipping on glasses of wine from their space hotel. We're back to 1920s era control, but now with Slack notifications or Teams, and so now authoritarian vibes are back. The new management trend is to infantilize your workforce. It's not trust but verify, it's track, doubt, and punish. The seventh problem I want to bring up is that general societal economic productivity has not improved. Somehow we still work 40 hours a week. Why?
Why?
Henry Ford gave us the 40-hour work week back in 1926, basically a century ago. Since then, GDP per worker has skyrocketed, but hours stayed the same. Technological advancements promised increased leisure time, yet work hours remain unchanged or they have increased for a lot of us. Despite automation and productivity tools, the standard work week persists, challenging the notion of progress. If we extrapolate to the far future, it's reasonable to say that work hours should go down. Technology should help us have to work less. Leisure time should go up. We should be able to do more human things while technology takes care of all the other things.
For the most part, when people back then imagined what the world would be like, everyone thought, well, industrialization, it's miserable, but it's going to lead us in a direction where the technology is going to advance so far that we're all going to be living lives of leisure. We'll have robot servants taking care of us. We'll have automation will eliminate the drudgery of farm work, factory work, eventually service work as well.
Instead of evolving, we've looped back. New tech, but same burnout. Our ancestors fought for weekends, and that's why you have a weekend. And now we're just trying to keep the Sunday scaries at bay. Eighth, we have an aging population and a growing economic burden on Gen Z that we're not ready for. Declining birth rates are happening in most countries around the world, including the United States. And an aging population means fewer workers supporting more retirees. You see, there's only a certain portion of the age distribution of a population that can produce economically. If you have nothing but old people who aren't producing, the strain on the people that are producing economically goes up exponentially. This demographic shift places additional financial strain on younger generations who may face higher taxes and reduced social benefits. And so Gen Z isn't really thinking about having kids, not because they don't want to, but because they can't afford to. Population is skewing older, and it's doing it faster and faster. That means fewer earners supporting the growing number of old people in our society. This imbalance could collapse entire economic and social systems, like Medicare and pensions, and it likely will. So you got to be ready. The ninth challenge I want to talk about is health insurance. I'm not going to go on and on about it, but basically it's a mess. And the coverage and quality you get from health insurance in this country relative to other countries is junk. Premiums are up, coverage is down, and deductibles are insulting. The system banks on you being too overwhelmed to file appeals or ask questions. It makes you have to call 5 different people and figure things out when you don't have time and you're too busy and you have to get other work done. Mental health, often out of network. Routine care, priced like a luxury service. People are crowdfunding surgeries while paying $400 a month for the privilege of being denied. And then the 10th problem I want to talk about is that retirement, as we know it, is dead.
Check aim.
Bearing detail.
Fire! 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 Order! Arms!
Much of that is because people are living longer and are, in general, more healthy. So we're doing better in older age. And hopefully that improves over time. But that just means we need to be better economically to take care of the growing number of aging people, like I said before. Retirement age? Very funny. That's adorable. I don't think that that's going to be a thing anymore. Declining pensions, weak 401ks, rising life expectancy, and insane inflation means Gen Z will need to hustle for well over 70 years. Many Gen Zers don't expect to retire at all, and they're not wrong. And AI might replace your job by 2030, but Social Security won't save you. And even Social Security may not be around for much longer. The next challenge is that college is pricier, pickier, and less meaningful than ever. The cost of a 4-year degree has more than tripled since the 1980s, when we adjust for inflation. Median tuition and fees at private colleges now hover around $40,000 per year on average. Acceptance rates at top schools, not just Ivy League schools, are under 5%. And even decent state schools are nearing as low as 10 to 20% due to surging applications and high demand. And after all that, employers still want 3 to 5 years of experience for a $47,000 a year salary. And in a skills-first world, or experience-first world, degrees are becoming expensive gatekeeping rituals, not guaranteed value.
When I applied to UCLA, the admissions rate was 76%. I was installing shelving in the Inland Empire in Los Angeles. The highlight of my day is I used to get ridiculously high with my coworkers and then take to the highways of Southern California. And I've been rejected at a college that had a 76% admissions rate. And my mom said, "Why don't you apply again?" And I remember this moment. The admissions director called me and said, you're not qualified, but you're a native son of California, we're letting you in. And then, out of UCLA, I got a 2.27 GPA. For those of you that don't know, that's not very good. And what did the finest public school in the world do, Berkeley? It let me into graduate school. And that's the whole point of higher ed, is most of us aren't freakishly remarkable at 18. The whole point is to give unremarkable people a chance of being remarkable.
Many companies are hiring regardless of degrees now. Meanwhile, boot camps, self-teaching, and TikTok side hustles are threatening to bypass the traditional model entirely. The return on investment for college or university education has never been lower than it is right now. And then last but not least, the real concern, due to many of the aspects I've mentioned, is that mental health for Gen Z is a struggle. Financial instability is contributing to a mental health crisis among Generation Z. A study by Arda Finance found that 38% of Gen Z individuals are experiencing a midlife crisis, with financial issues being the primary source of stress. The rising cost of living, student debt, and horrible job market and other uncertainties are leading to increased anxiety, depression, and affecting both personal well-being and professional productivity.
The anxious generation, Jonathan Haidt. The takeaway is we're raising the most anxious, depressed, obese, and addicted generation in history. You can just sense it. There's so many young people out there that are really struggling, that aren't happy, that don't have the opportunities that my generation had, and then 210 times a day, they're reminded that they're not doing well as someone else vomits their faux success and experiences all over them.
So we talked about all the challenges. Now let's talk about potential solutions. So the first potential solution is work the system. Don't worship it. The traditional ladder is now broken. So the good news is that it means that you can stop worrying about climbing it. If the job market is fake, make your own opportunity real. Freelance, create, teach, and build. Every system has cracks. So Side hustles, niche gigs, community economies live in those cracks. Explore alternative career paths. Consider freelancing and entrepreneurship. Build online portfolios and take on freelance projects or start side businesses, potentially using AI tools to streamline operations. Explore startups and smaller companies. These may offer more opportunities for growth and diverse skill development relative to larger corporations. And also build your network. Leverage online platforms and in-person events to connect with potential employers, mentors, and collaborators. Next, embrace lifelong learning and upskilling. Focus on in-demand skills. Prioritize acquiring skills that are less susceptible to AI automation, such as digital marketing, data analytics, and expertise in using such AI tools. Embrace continuous learning. The job market is constantly evolving, so make continuous learning a core part of your career strategy through online courses, certifications, and workshops. And then become T-shaped. Develop a broad base of knowledge across different areas while also going deep in expertise in a specific niche that you're passionate about. Then make sure to learn the right skills, not just school skills. If college is the same as debt plus a low return on investment, go where the real education is, which is real world projects. Self-educate with AI or YouTube or Discord servers and short courses. Focus on AI-proof skills and human skills, such as creativity, adaptability, leadership, strategic thinking, systems thinking, which is one of the themes of this channel, critical thinking, creativity, communication, problem solving, and emotional intelligence. Develop adaptability and resilience. These traits are crucial for navigating changing job markets and economic challenges. So show proof, not paper. Build a portfolio, not just a transcript. Next, partner with AI. Don't resist it. Learn to leverage AI as a tool. Master using AI tools to increase productivity and efficiency in various roles and industries. Be the AI expert in your group. Position yourself as someone who understands and can utilize AI effectively to help companies improve their operations. And another potential solution is focusing on financial literacy and agility. Build a financial cushion. Learn about budgeting, saving, and investing early on to gain financial stability and reduce dependence on a single income source. Explore side hustles and alternative income streams. Consider freelancing or other side ventures to supplement income and build new skills, as I mentioned before. Utilize workplace benefits. Take advantage of any opportunities offered by employers, such as mental health days or tuition reimbursement. Next, reclaim economic leverage. Don't fight inflation by working more. Work smarter. Join forces. Co-living, co-buying, barter, micro-communities. Participate in emerging economies, fractional real estate, digital assets, creator economies. You don't need to own the whole cow to get the milk. Next, be the anti-resume. You stand out by being human, interesting, and real. Make recruiters curious, not just impressed. Show personality and purpose. Share your ideas publicly on Medium, YouTube, or some newsletter. Become a magnet. Make your top goal to never have to update your resume again. And I might do a future video on that topic. Become so good that people have to Google you. Then question everything, especially things that everyone's saying is normal. 40-hour work week, it's outdated. $2,000 rent for a shoebox, that's absurd. 5 rounds of interviews for a $60,000 a year job, that's hostage negotiation. If it feels insane, it probably is. Don't support it. Reject silently and build visibly. And then strengthen your mental armor. The game is rigged, unfortunately, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. Build routines, reduce doom scrolling, get sunlight, talk to real people. Remember, mental health is the foundation for everything else and every other advantage. Then play the long game. Most of your peers will give up or numb out or burn out. Don't keep sprinting. Work on building endurance. Learn compounding. Stay curious. Big moves aren't required, just keep moving with intention. Your quiet grind today becomes unfair advantage tomorrow. And then design your own loops. The old promise loop was you work hard, you get a good job, you earn decent pay, you buy a home, you raise a family, you retire comfortably, and society reinforces that. This was the script most of us were raised on, a closed loop of effort rewarded with stability, And for a while it worked. Boomers were the ones who mostly lived it. Gen X, we caught the tail end of that. But for millennials and Gen Z, the gears have slipped. People are blaming themselves for a system that no longer delivers. The new reality loop is that you must learn fast, adapt creatively, stack your skills, leverage online platforms, build micro reputations, attract new opportunities, supplement autonomy, and then keep learning fast. This is the game now. The system of the future is going to reward adaptability over loyalty, creativity over compliance. It's about stacking your skills up and building proof of work online and finding ways to earn trust in niche ecosystems. And then finally, advocate for systemic change. For example, modernize education, which I'm going to do a video on why our current education system is not that great. But push for updated curricula in schools and universities that focus on current technologies and essential skills like critical thinking. Advocate for affordable and accessible education. Support initiatives that reduce the cost of higher education and promote alternative learning paths like apprenticeships. And then also promote worker well-being. Advocate for policies that address mental health, work-life balance, and fair labor practices. So I know that was a lot. We talked about a lot of different problems and a lot of potential solutions. Thanks for watching today. As there are often more than one right answer, go ahead and comment and tell us what you think. What problems did I miss? What other solutions do you have? My 3 key takeaways are, for Gen X, you didn't cause the storm, but your kids are sailing through it. Show them how to think for themselves and build them a compass, not just a resume. For Gen Z, the world wasn't built with you in mind, so go build something better. Systems only stay rigged if nobody rewrites the rules. And for everyone else, the future isn't canceled. It's under renovation. You're not too early, too late, or lost. You're right on time to change the game. If you like what you saw today, please go ahead and like and subscribe, as it will keep content like this coming your way. It's my goal to make this content entertaining and funny, enlightening and educational, as well as a little bit nostalgic. Stay tuned, as we're going to talk about a lot of different topics ranging from consciousness to philosophy to economics and all the intersections in between that affect your thinking and being. But until then, keep thinking and being, and do not go gentle into that good night.